Hey everybody, welcome back. So today is a special episode because today I am interviewing one of my friends, Emilee Gull, and I just wanted to take the time to introduce her to you. So, here to help us dive deep today into the modern day world of healing is Emilee Constance Gull. She's a healing intuitive and gifted body worker. Emilee discovered this side of herself while going to school to become a licensed massage therapist in 2016. Over the course of her experience in school, she overcame the darkest night of her soul in her lifetime, moving from major depression and constantly contemplating suicide to find herself in the middle of a full-blown spiritual awakening, and has since come to her own authentic power. After understanding and integrating the part of herself that wanted to die, she has completely transformed every facet of her life. Over the years, she's accomplished many feats of healing and self-healing and believes that it is now her calling to dedicate the rest of her life to the study and practice of everything she has learned about healing, and then teaching those healing modalities to others that she knows from personal experience have the real potential to break every emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, and financial bind on the world. Please welcome Emilee Gull.
All right, we're recording. Hi,
Awesome.
Emily.
Hi.
How you doing?
Very good. How about yourself?
Really good. We're in different time zones, so I have my coffee. It's 8:39 p.m. Usually I go to bed at around 9:30 lately.
Really? That's awesome.
I'm
I'm
old.
working on disciplining myself.
What?
I'm working on disciplining myself for the
Oh,
same
really?
thing. I'm definitely a night owl.
Are you?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So it takes some training for me to get up early and go to bed early, but it's totally possible. I bet you feel fantastic.
I do. For me, I used to be a night owl, but now neither. I'm not a night owl. I'm not a morning person. I just sleep the whole day.
I can sleep
Uh,
whenever I am tired. Whenever I'm really tired, I can sleep anywhere and anytime.
yeah, I love that.
Mhm.
Okay, so I already introduced you, so let's maybe talk about how we met. That would be a good way to start this.
Perfect. Absolutely. The first thing I remember is somehow there was like a messenger exchange because you posted some artwork. Do you have that artwork
Oh
still?
my goodness, I don't know where it is. I think I have it in one of my boxes.
That
I'm
would
so
be
cool.
something cool to like show your viewers as well. Like
It's
that's how we met. You just something
yes,
about your artwork spoke to me.
it was like something abstract, and I was like, I want to know what people think about it. I want to know what like they see because everybody saw something different.
Hmm.
And then I don't know how we like. I was drawn to talk to you, and we just like clicked.
Yeah.
It was pretty
Yeah.
cool.
It felt like definitely like a soul sister type of connection. And then
Yes,
we were just saying how like I feel like it's been my whole life that I've known you, or much
yeah.
longer than maybe 4 or 5 years. Has it been?
It's been at least four
Wow.
years, I think, because I've been with my boyfriend for 3 years, and I knew you before my boyfriend. So, yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
hmm it's
Very cool.
crazy. I think like spiritual people are like that, though. It's often when you meet somebody that's spiritual, they're gonna be like, "Okay, I feel like I've known you my whole life because you connect so deeply, really quick."
Yeah, definitely. And I
Mhm.
mean, that can happen with a lot of people as well, but it's so cool that we've been able to maintain that connection over time. Because I know
Yes.
I've had moments, with I guess other spiritual people or whatever you want to call
Hmm.
those people that are like on that self growth path, but then will not stay connected. So it's really
Yeah,
cool
that's
when
true.
you have that immediate connection and it is
Hmm.
maintainable. I really
Yeah.
appreciate you for that.
Oh, I love you too. You're amazing. It's crazy because yeah, we just talked face to face on Zoom 3 times. You're in Las Vegas, right?
In Las Vegas, yes.
Okay, I'm in New Brunswick, Canada, which is on the east coast of Canada.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, we kept in touch like through Facebook for the longest time, and you've
Mhm.
helped me through a lot. Like I feel like you were there for me for a lot of difficult periods in my life, and I'm just so thankful to have you as a friend.
Yeah, I would say the same too. It's kind of crazy how sometimes all you need is like a good friend or
Mhm.
some support because we're super strong. We have gone through a lot, I think, in the last few years, and to not even having like a friend in person, but just from a distance, being
Yeah.
supporters for each other. It's really cool.
Yeah, that just goes to show you can connect with anybody in the world, and it's like you never know who you're gonna meet, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's cool to have relationships like ours because then I feel like it definitely raises me up. And then when I go out and about, like afterward, I can connect to people better because I just came from like feeling what that good connection feels like. So it's just
Yes.
organic and comes out. You know how sometimes you have to de-armor out in public
Mhm.
with somebody before you can like get into a good conversation. But yeah, I feel like after spending time with you or people like you, it's easier. And I think that's probably one of the ways we'll solve like connection issues between people.
Oh, definitely. And I
Mm-hmm.
was really, really proud to be able to have you as a guest on this is going to be on my podcast, Hello Goddess, and on my YouTube channel, if you're up for that.
You bet.
But I'm really happy to have you as a guest because I know you're going to be able to teach a lot of people that are following me. So you have
Very
so much wisdom and so much experience. So I'm really happy to have you on my episode.
Thank you. I hope some of my experiences will like help someone, you know. It makes
Definitely.
what you go through completely worth it if you're able to, you know, reach out and teach or help people afterward.
I really trust that, like, when we send something out in the universe, it's going to get to the people that need it. Like, if you send that intention. So,
Yeah.
maybe let's talk a little bit about the group that we met on. It was Teal Tribe. It doesn't exist anymore, unfortunately, but
Yeah. And we're still not completely sure as to why, right? Did you
I'm
ever find
not quite sure.
either?
Yeah, I have no idea, but it was a really cool community.
Definitely. And I think they have a couple pages that are something similar. It's just not the original group that we met in. So that was meant for a reason. I'm really glad it existed and we were able to connect in that window of time that it did exist. So
It is, yeah, it's beautiful.
yeah, super cool. I wonder if the Teal Tribe will have something like that in the future, but maybe Tealers will find each other in other ways. We'll see.
Yeah, I remember Teal Swan. Well, first of all, let's just say who Teal Swan is for the people who don't know.
Sure.
She's like a world renowned spiritual teacher. She has a very popular YouTube channel,
Mm-hmm.
and I think she does conventions.
Yeah, she's a pretty incredible woman. And I guess I could probably talk about my time in Costa Rica.
Yes,
If
please do, please
at
do.
this moment, yeah. Meeting her in person was very cool. Have you ever met her in person at a
I
convention,
haven't.
anything like that? No? Okay, well, it's very cool because I think maybe a lot of people, just because she has such a unique perspective on things, they'll like idolize her.
Mhm.
But it's just so cool how like real she is, you know. I thought, you know, going there just because I do idolize her so much and what she's overcome and what she's been through, that it would maybe almost have like, oh, I'm meeting a celebrity type of
Yeah,
feeling.
yeah,
I didn't
starstruck.
feel that way at all. I just felt, you know, kind of like with you, that she has that like depth in her eyes, you know, that you can tell that she's just like, she's present with you. And not only that, she can hold space for you because yeah, she just has that depth. She's been through things, overcome things, and I think that's pretty rare to find, especially like to the magnitude that she has. You know,
Yeah,
she can hold space for quite a bit, having gone through quite a bit.
definitely. Yeah. I'm not that surprised that you tell me this because that's how I pictured her. She's so down to earth, like on her videos and stuff, and that's
Yeah.
amazing. You got to meet her, and you were there for a training, right?
Yes. Yeah, I did do the completion process training. So the process that she developed, like over the course of her career, to help people, I guess in simple words, like reclaim and reintegrate the lost parts of themselves that usually happen due to a traumatic experience or multiple traumatic experiences,
Mm-hmm.
or even the way that they process an experience and the meaning that they assign to that. So I
Right.
was just, yeah, she trained us somewhat individually and as a group. You know, we would splinter off and have practice. So we had to use the process on ourselves several times with
Whoa,
other practitioners from like day one, which I really like.
that's amazing.
Yeah, so I think by the end of that training, hopefully everyone had a personal testimony of that process and how healing it can be. And that's actually the process that I've used throughout my journey over my life with suicidal thoughts and thinking, and I guess just that mindset. I don't necessarily know what to call it, but that existential crisis season of my life. So yeah, just a very integral part of my healing. And so that's kind of why I pursued her and pursued that process in the first place.
So you feel like that really changed you, that really helped you heal?
Yeah, it definitely did. And the coolest thing is it's a process that anyone can use on themselves. It is for self-healing. There may be, deeper traumas or darker traumas that require just for you to feel safe, or for you to really go deep into those emotions, having another practitioner like myself, or
right.
I'm actually not listed on her completion process page, but I do know that if anyone watching this in the future is needing help, right now, you can actually go to her completionprocess.com and find practitioners that are readily available, pretty much lots of different languages, lots of different avenues, I guess, or I don't even know the word. So say you're dealing with anxiety, they have someone for that. Or you could be dealing with financial issues. They have someone for that, just all kinds of things, and tracking those things back to the root of where they came from, and then just ripping that root out.
That's beautiful. I love that.
That's a good resource for anyone who may be in some sort of a crisis. Doesn't have to be, as huge as something where you're wanting to take your life, but I know that can be the case for some people. And anything from small trauma to big trauma.
So for you, for the moments that you were going through suicidal thoughts or dark periods in your life, was that before you had your spiritual awakening, or was that during, was up and down?
It's just so interconnected. A lot of it, I would say, was before I knew I was experiencing a spiritual awakening, but that's what it was the entire time.
Right. I understand that, yeah.
I had to go into that really dark space in order to come back out of it and then feel, truly alive, I guess.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, a lot of people call it the dark night of the soul.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you can actually go through several in your lifetime, but I do stand by the belief that once you've chosen yourself and you're I am willing to, experience what it is I need to experience for my healing, it never has to be that dark again. Because at least with suicide.
So do you still practice as a practitioner?
I do, yes. I do use this process on myself, I will say, more than any clients. For those of, I think you probably did this in the introduction as well, but I do massage therapy work.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. But I was just going to say quickly that that's where most of my clients would come from for completion process.
Oh, really?
I haven't been registered on the website and everything for a while because there was it's actually called QPR. It's a suicide training, almost like CPR for that crisis.
Okay. That
we needed to take. So in order to stay certified, I guess, or be current. And so now I am, and I could relist if I wanted to.
Oh, nice.
So I'd be excited to start working with people again with completion process. We want to give you every reason, every resource possible to see if we can get you to want to live. Because if you're at that point, I think no risk is too great.
Yeah.
Potentially save your life. So
definitely, yeah. For sure.
But massage, absolutely. I love massage. What would you like to know, if anything?
So would you say massage therapy, I kind of already knew the answer in the back of my head there, but do you think that massage therapy goes deeper than just the physical body?
Absolutely. And I have this on my website as well, where I talked a lot and wrote a lot about the mind-body connection. And how you can't affect one without affecting the other. So it's actually a fantastic tool, and one that I've used a lot just with my own specific way that I've been traumatized. I actually have quite a few memory blocks and haven't been able to use completion process to go back to that root and pull it out. But I can take kind of an opposite approach. And I've gotten a lot of massage myself, a lot of body work. You obviously do Reiki, so you know how that also can affect even just energy. Energy affects the body, which then affects the spirit as well. So I think, yeah, it's just all interconnected. It absolutely can go deeper, and it does. I've had a lot of clients have like a purging on my table where some emotions will come up, maybe not even necessarily understanding what it is, but I'm there to hold space for them, and their body like will just release that. Sometimes people will shake. That can be trauma releasing as well. They might not, or like muscle twitches. Yep. Those are on a smaller scale, also a release of energy.
Interesting.
And up emotion.
Interesting. Yeah, for me, Reiki was similar too. Like when I treat my patients, a lot of people like they come with physical ailments, but they don't realize that it's really connected to something more emotional.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. And it's like all the bodies are connected together. And I think that is becoming more and more mainstream. People realize that it's not just the body, like there's the emotional body, the mental bodies, the spiritual body.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's really interesting to think about.
I think, like you said, mainstream culture is totally opening up to those ideas. It is kind of a hard thing to talk about, you know, when we're kind of programmed with like the Western medicine way of looking at the world.
Yeah, definitely.
And wanting those quick fixes, Band-Aid fixes, rather than looking at root causes. I think people are opening up to those things. But one thing it usually takes is having a personal experience with something like that. So, I mean, even if you don't feel like you're the type of person who has been severely traumatized, I think therapy is amazing for everybody and absolutely recommend it, whether you do body work and that's your avenue, or maybe energy work, or receive massage or CP, something like that, you know?
There's so many modalities now. Like acupuncture is another one, or
acupuncture. Have you ever experienced acupuncture? I think it's incredible.
It's amazing. I've had it done before. Yeah. Have you?
I have, yeah. And it was very similar to body work for me, where I did have some thoughts, I guess, that kind of came along with the emotional release I experienced, but I just felt so much lighter after in a way I couldn't really explain. I mean, these needles are like tiny. It doesn't make sense why it works, but it can be completely like transformational for someone.
It's beautiful. I just remember feeling the energy flowing through my body as soon as she put the needles in. Like I could feel the energy more like flowing more easily in my body.
Did you feel like your temperature increased? Like you got hot or cold or something like that? I've heard people talk about that as well.
I think I got cold, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely felt hot. But maybe that's maybe where we had like different trapped energy. You know, mine, I needed that like heat to start flowing, and you needed to like cool down.
Yeah, that's probably what happened. No, it's really cool. I love all the alternative medicine and everything like that. For you, were you always this open to like energy healing and spirituality, or is it something that just like happened later on in life?
I would almost say both, because I like my own personality and just like the way that my mind works. I've always been a very curious and very open person. It just was, I wasn't exposed to it for the longest time. But it was kind of when I went to massage school, which really kind of just came together. It's probably like a divine orchestration, because I was going to school for musical theater and being a performer, and it just so happened I didn't get cast in a show that season and didn't feel like, you know, working backstage for the specific shows of that run. So I just was like, hey, I've always kind of been interested in learning that. Maybe it could be like a nice side job for me, make some extra money. And then completely changed my world. And, you know, I started doing that for, you know, the last few years or so until I've met my mentors. But it's something that I'm called to do. I don't think, I didn't know, obviously, but I definitely have a gift of touch. And I think just honing in on that skill actually opened me up energetically as well. Because again, mind, body, spirit connection.
Exactly.
I became more aware of my physicality and like my body. I mean, you're receiving massage every single day in school from other students that are learning. And then we do learn Reiki, actually. We're all like, in my school, it was just level 1 Reiki certified. So we're not masters or anything, but yeah, it just opened me up to this whole new world. So
that's amazing. So that was what opened you up to all of that. Was massage?
Yeah. And I would say just all spiritual, the whole spiritual way of looking at the world, you know?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was raised in a religion. I know that you know that. And so I thought that I knew, you know, everything there is to know about spirituality, but I did actually end up leaving my childhood faith and
Right.
taking the world on myself and just trying to figure out what I wanted to believe and choose for my life. So
I think a lot of people will relate to that. From different religions, like a lot of people, they leave
yeah.
the religion and they discover their own version of spirituality and they feel empowered through that.
Yeah. Some people, even for them, that could be a religion, you know?
They could go, yeah, it could go both ways.
Very strange. Yeah. For someone like me and maybe somebody like you who is just more of like a spiritual person without identifying to one thing. But sometimes it can really help people. I've actually seen it serve several people. But I do find I think the majority of like the collective conscious right now, it gets in our head in a weird way. I don't know necessarily if it's the way we're processing, or, you know, someone could come into contact with like a specific preacher that the way that they preach, you know, just doesn't resonate with them, something like that. And it'll cause you to, or it'll be a catalyst for you to like go seek more and like want to find truth, whatever that means for you, you know?
Yes, exactly.
So, really interesting. Some people
questions,
it can be the thing that breaks you, and some people it can be the thing that saves you. So religion, interesting construct.
It's definitely all about your own perspective and how you filter things into your reality.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you were raised Catholic, is that right?
Yes, I was. I don't know if that was the case for you in your religion, but the word spirituality didn't come up a lot in the terminology of my religion. It was like, I think the first time I heard the word spirituality, I associated it with meditation.
Oh, gotcha.
So like, I was kind of a little bit older and I thought, okay, spirituality is more about meditation. But now I understand it has so much more of a deeper meaning and it means different things to different people. I feel like spirituality.
How would you define like your specific definition of spirituality?
I always say it's the relationship I have with myself, others, and the world.
I like that.
That's how I see it.
Definitely.
What about you?
I think probably the same thing. Now that you say that, I think before I would have said, you know, it's my own personal relationship with like all that is, which is literally kind of what you said.
That's the same thing.
Other people, myself, the world, and then if you want to take it one step further, like God, universe, the divine, whatever that like supernatural part of life is, which that's another thing you have to have an experience with, or you probably just won't believe because you can't, you know? You have to have some sort of experience that's just personal for you. And I think if I had one message for people, that would be it. Is like, don't you dare take anybody else's truth as your own. Even if it becomes true for you over time, like you have to know it for yourself. That's the most important thing. So you can have like good roots in your life.
Thank you for saying that. That's so true. Like, don't believe it just because I'm saying it or you saying it. Like, just explore your own, you know, spirituality and explore your own connection with the universe or God or whatever you want to call it. And you'll see, I see it like there's some people that believe in God because they were told about God, and other people believe in God because they know God.
Right, exactly. And it's not wrong to, I guess, go off of others' faith until you have your own. That's totally fine, as long as it's like a positive experience for you. You know, a lot of times it can make you feel desperate. I think
for sure, but
take others' opinions in,
especially like if you're a skeptical person or
you can be like an open-minded skeptic. You know, I think if you're stubborn, that might be a problem. Because you won't grow, you know, and you might not see the reality of things. Like you have every right to be that way, you know. But if you're skeptical, I think that's actually a good thing because you're going to ask the right questions. If you just go by blind faith, then I mean, you might get lucky and have some experiences that lead you to the truth. But I think a lot of times I don't know if the universe wants it to be that way, but it takes like an active participating on our side of things.
Yes, definitely questioning reality.
Yeah, definitely. So what does your spiritual practice look like these days?
My spiritual
has it shifted over time? Because I know sometimes like there was a time where I was meditating every day for like an hour, and that really served me. And then I wasn't getting that same connection there, and it kind of switched over to like doing yoga, and then it switched again, you know? So what does it look like for you these days?
That's really interesting because me too, at the very beginning, after my like first spiritual awakening, let's say, I would meditate for long periods of time. And I felt that was helping me at the time. Right now, I don't feel the need to do that as much. I feel like I can tap into that state of mind quicker.
Yes. Well, I think after a while, you have programmed your mind to like reach that, whatever that brainwave is. I don't know what it's called, like beta, alpha, something like that. Someone else might know the more science side of things, but yeah, you can get there quicker because you're in practice. And then if you feel like you can't, maybe it's time to pick it back up again, you know?
Exactly. And I think there's so many layers to spiritual practice. Like you can have your introspection, you can have interpersonal spiritual practice. Like for me, like being forgiving, being compassionate, being more open-minded with other people's perspectives. That's kind of part of my spiritual practice. And I'm sure you can relate to that too. I'm sure that's something you do too.
I think that's the aim of any spiritual practice, actually, is to like get us back in that heart space. It just looks different for everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what is your spiritual practice for you? What do you do?
Currently, a lot of it is like yoga for me. It very, very much so, since I'm dealing with like themes of like financial freedom in my life, and like dealing with a lot of like survival based traumas. I think working with the body really, really helps because it's very grounding, you know? So I think that's just what's serving me at the moment. And the body is so cool. As a massage therapist, I'm kind of obsessed, but I think anyone can really get into it because it just helps you understand yourself so much better. I mean, like you were talking about how a lot of our like mental neuroses can come from a physical injury or vice versa. You know, they might start mental and manifest physically. You know, I've seen it go both ways. So
Exactly.
I think that's where my spiritual practice has really taken off lately, has just been exploring my body through yoga. Also like hot showers and working with water and like cleansing, because I know it has a really great vibration. So that's just helped a lot. What about for you with this is 2020, so COVID-19 is happening.
Oh my God, it's a crazy time.
Us all.
I think I told you this last time we were talking, but my provinces were actually doing really good, but at the same time, like, we still have to be careful. You never know, there could be another wave of it. And
yeah, definitely. It's kind of interesting. I know many people are kind of frustrated with like the news of it and how it's just constantly like in our faces and the restrictions we now have and how we're more isolated, you know. I think connection is kind of suffering, but we're also forced to like go inward. There are some blessings coming out of this, I think. And it's just a good time to reassess like where we've been and who we are now, but also just be open to where we want to go.
That's beautiful.
Instead of just staying on that same track, you know, it's a reflection.
It's happening for a reason, and it's helping us, like you said, to go inwards. And maybe like if we get to know ourselves better, we can connect with other people better after when it's all done.
Yeah, I absolutely believe that too. Because if we don't really know who we are, and that does change, so it's good to have these periods of reflection, I think. So we can get connected to like who we really are right now, so that we can share that with other people, like in a way that is more authentic, instead of just being like, well, I've always been this, and I've, you know, even up till recently identified with this, but continually asking, like, do I want to still be that person? Like, am I still choosing that? Just making sure it's still a conscious choice.
Yeah, to be present every time and to make sure that you're not doing just something out of habit instead of being intentional.
Yeah, definitely. Sure. And then when we're intentional, I think we're less prone to like absorbing from others, like others' opinions of us or who they think we are. I don't know if you struggle with that, but absolutely, if I'm confused about myself in any way, shape, or form, then it's a lot easier for someone to come in and tell me who I am, and I accept that, rather than saying, no, this is actually who I am. You know, I'm consciously creating myself.
That's a good way to put it. I never thought about it that way, but it's true. Like, the more you know who you are, the less it matters what people think, or you're not going to be swayed in one way or
Yeah.
another.
Yeah. And if anything, you just kind of take it as feedback and you're cool with it. It doesn't sting so much once you know who you are.
Exactly. So what are your dreams like for your life? What do you want to create in the world?
So many things.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yes. I mean, for right now, on a daily basis, like I just look to see how I can bless people, you know, wherever I am, how I can serve. So that's a big part of it. Like that's how I want to live my life, regardless of when I will accomplish these like bigger projects or things, you know, that I'm wanting to do. So that's the main thing for sure is knowing who I am and like kind of being like a little earth angel. I had a meditation one time where I kind of regressed a little bit, went back to, I don't know if it was before I was born or just kind of when I was setting the intentions for what my life was going to be, like manifestation. And one of those things was to like experience as much as possible, which I think a lot of humans have that. And then also to be someone who can give to people no matter what I'm going through.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So being of service is the main intention.
It's like the archetype of an angel. I'm not claiming that I'm like an angel, but I want to emulate that in my life, you know? So
I see you like that. You're very angelic.
Thank you. That only comes because I've purged a lot of demons and we're still doing that.
Yes.
But yeah, I guess as far as maybe like projects and things that or causes I really want to support, I really am passionate about animals. And I think that giving them a voice would be really important and like kind of helping people see them more as equals, you know, because they're just other beings. We've just created this division between us. So I think I'll probably do a lot of volunteer work there. I'm definitely passionate about like poverty. So going into countries that like just need the basics to survive so that then they can, you know, thrive in their own cool way that comes with their culture. I think that would be really cool to support. And, you know, completion process and massage therapy. I kind of want to open some sort of retreat for that. So I can also do like direct healing work, but then also work with the animals, also work with people who need help. So I don't know.
Love that. I could see you do that 100%. Like,
yeah.
You would be
I could explain everything in detail, I guess, of all my ideas I've thought of, but we'd be here for hours. But I guess it kind of gives you a snapshot. Oh, yes, and working with women. That is a big one for me, too.
Me, too. It's for women, and all of those things are beautiful intentions.
What were your, if you don't mind me asking, what were your intentions when you first thought of doing this podcast?
The podcast, like our episode or the whole podcast?
Actually, both. Now I'm curious. I understand like your whole idea for your podcast, but yeah, and this episode as well.
So I think like right when I started to be spiritual, I guess, or my spiritual awakening, I got really into books like in meditation and learning teachings and all these things. And it was all for my personal growth. Like it was all about me and my own evolvement. But as the time goes by, I kind of started to think like you, like I want to help other people. I want to help humanity at large. And I thought, okay, well, all of the knowledge that I'm accumulating, if I could share that and it would help one person out there, then I have accomplished like my purpose, if that makes sense.
No, it definitely does. I think one of the best ways to help other people is going through things yourself and just sharing that like in an authentic way, letting people see you where you are as you're going through things so that it kind of normalizes it for them, you know.
100%. And I'm not enlightened. I'm not perfect like by any means. It's just as I'm learning, I want to share it.
And so that people can know, I guess, that where you are at is achievable. Like, I know you're saying, like, I'm not enlightened, but I guarantee you are probably not suffering as much as you used to be.
100%.
And so you can teach that to somebody else, like, that is incredible.
That's literally what it is. Like, for me, I've had dark periods as well in my life where I didn't understand why I was here. I didn't feel like my life had meaning. And now it's completely different. Like, I feel like, yes, my life has a purpose, and it's to serve. Like, yes, to be happy, to be healthy, to feel joy, but also to extend that to other people.
That is super
A
cool.
lot
So
of,
how did you, if you don't mind me asking,
oh, go
I
ahead.
guess also interview.
It's going both ways.
Yeah, absolutely. So how did you reach that conclusion of like your purpose and what that was? I mean, I know for me it was, I guess, going through everything I've been through, and it kind of came together in pieces. And you know, I got my massage talent and did the CP training, and it's kind of like just the accumulation of everything I've learned as well is now what I can offer people.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it was like kind of a slow thing for me, but I guess the reason I ask is because I actually have a brother right now who's kind of going through that crisis of like, what is my purpose? Do I have one? How did you decide that, oh, that is my purpose? How did it come to you, or did you have to choose it like very consciously, or was it something that just grew over time?
I think when I was going through that dark period, I prayed a lot to whoever wanted to listen at that point. And I had like visions of myself serving, different ways, whether it's like hosting group meditations or whatever, like writing a book, all these things that I want to do in my life. And I was like, okay, well, if I can do that, I'm really excited about living. Like, I want to be here. I
like that.
Yeah.
So it was when you kind of found things that brought you joy, whether that was for yourself or to serve people, that kind of gave you that purpose.
The idea that it could be possible, that I could help somebody else instead of just living to live,
Very true. That's an interesting point too, that like just the idea of something sometimes is enough to like make you want to live or make you want to move forward or whatever it is for you personally. That's very interesting. It doesn't even have to be like, I know exactly what I'm going to create. I know exactly who I'm going to be. It's just like, actually, even if you don't even have like a vision of what you can give yet, but just like the idea that you can heal, or the idea that this might be possible, that might be possible, does bring your life back to you.
Yeah, you just need that little spark of hope. Like, you don't need the whole fire. It's just that spark.
So what would you say is the best way to like go about getting that? Just expose yourself to as many things as possible and like be honest about what resonates and what doesn't, or?
It depends. Like, if you're in that dark period, I'd say the first thing I would do is just drop on your knees, like surrender completely to your experience. Because sometimes the resistance to darkness is what creates more darkness.
Yeah, very true.
And then afterwards, like, ask the universe, like, can you support me through this? Like, can you show me what to read, who to meet, what to do, so I can feel better? And ultimately, I think feeling better or feeling good and serving and helping other people is always connected, because we're so interconnected, right? So, but the way it looks, the way it shows up is different for each person.
Yeah, very true.
Does that make sense?
It does. I actually was just thinking, I really like the part that you just said about like feeling good actually like helps the collective. I think a lot of us feel like guilt for taking time for ourselves, for self-caring. And obviously you don't want to be like self-caring 24/7 all the time, because then you're not serving, right? But you do need that if you want something to offer the world. You have to know like what makes you tick, what will calm you down, how to cope. Like, not that we want to be coping our way through life, but there is this part of that that's extremely important to get down so that we can be available for other people.
Definitely.
When they need us.
I think a lot of people think that they have to self-sacrifice to be able to help other people, but I see it the opposite way. Like, the more you love yourself, the more you fuel yourself and feel good, the more you'll be able to help other people.
Sure. I think it's very rare when we're actually called to like sacrifice a part of ourselves for the sake of someone else. It doesn't happen often.
It's not how it goes.
It's not really how it goes. I'm like, maybe in like intense crisis. But then it's like, if you love your neighbor, I guess, for the lack of a better term, your brother, your sister, this other being, like you love yourself, which is kind of the ultimate goal, then you're going to want to do those things. It's not going to be a sacrifice or a compromise. It's just going to be like the price that needs to be paid. And it actually gives you more purpose by paying that price.
Yes.
So, mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's all about purpose. Like that's basically, we're asking what my podcast is about. It's about finding purpose and helping other women, specifically more women,
mm-hmm.
find purpose in their lives. And I think I wanted you to be the first guest on my podcast, and you are, because when I think about like all of the things that I love to do, I feel like you have a lot of these qualities in you as well. Like we have a lot in common.
That is true. I think we have a lot in common in personality, but one cool thing about being friends with you is we have a lot of like interests and things in common as well. So
exactly.
Cool. Mm-hmm.
Like we're sisters. We just probably incarnated on purpose at the same time.
I mean, I absolutely need people like you. So you fill a very important role.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. I don't know when we started, but we've been talking for a while now.
Quite a while, yeah. Did you have anything else like we need to wrap up with, or what are you thinking?
My podcast is named Hello Goddess.
Uh-huh.
I want to know, what is your definition of a goddess?
Okay, that's kind of a cool question. For just a second. I think probably when a lot of people think about it, they're thinking, divine feminine, which I think maybe is a part of it. But really, I guess it's just like knowing who you are and being okay with that in the simplest of terms. That might resonate, people who aren't even like spiritual or consider themselves spiritual, but just like for your own mental health, to embody like a goddess, like the confident, like sensual, beautiful, like female. It's just knowing who you are and being good with it.
I love that.
So hopefully that's a decent definition.
That's a beautiful definition. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
I'm really glad.
Awesome.
I'm so happy you were able to record this tonight with me. Thank you so much. It was really, really interesting to listen to you speak, and I know my followers will think the same. It was very interesting.
Like you were saying, if we help even like one person by taking some time out of our day to just chat like this, I think it's so worth it.
Absolutely. Maybe there's something, like just one little thing we said that help them, in their journey, and that's beautiful, and that's definitely both our goals. So
yeah, absolutely. This is a fun little collaboration.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for watching, listening out there. We love you, and talk to you guys soon.
Okay, sounds good.
Bye.